Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 11 of season 2. At some point, we gotta drop the season 2 thing, right? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm good.
I
Can
don't know.
whenever.
We'll figure it out.
My
Uh,
episode, don't worry.
one day it'll phase out. Nobody will notice.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome. This is the random album review. For those of you who do not already know, I'm Larry.
And I'm Brian.
And the way this works is each week Brian and I alternate choosing an album for the other person to listen to. In its entirety, at least, because we've known each other a long time. Sometimes we listen to music together. It just happens. And, sometimes you hear it in public. Music's popular.
Music popular.
Yeah. We listen to it off camera. We get on here. We talk about our experience listening to it. We give an experienced listener, the person that suggested the music, they get their perspective. You get the new listener's perspective. We give them a score, and we move on. It's that simple.
Sounds about right.
So, Brian, this week,
Yes.
I selected Metallica, the self-titled LP from American metal band Metallica.
Really?
Yes, and it's the 5th studio album from the group, and the album debuted on August 12th of 1991. My dad was in high school.
I think my parents were in here. My dad was in the process of getting over here, so
That's crazy.
I
Wow.
believe so.
Yeah.
Because, in the process, I say, because they got over here in like 2000, I believe.
It's a long well, especially before it was a much longer process.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this album, I don't know, it means a lot to me because, especially recently, like I had a really long discussion with my dad recently about this album specifically and this album's popularity. He talked about, he didn't really like Metallica in the first 4 albums. He thought it was too heavy for him. And I mean, part of it could have been other influence, maybe from friends or family, but he didn't really like Metallica. But then this album came out, and specifically he heard Enter Sandman when it was released as a single before the album even released. And he was just like, oh my God, wait, this is
fire.
This is kind of good. The album came out, he bought it. I think he said he bought it day one. And he was like, wow, this is incredible. This is amazing. And before you knew it, he listened to the first 4 albums. So, I don't know. This album just means a lot to me because my dad really loves Metallica. We can talk about him a lot. And it's not the only band that we have in common, but it's just one that we talked about really recently. And kind of why I chose this episode, I guess. It was on the brain.
The one of the guys on my shop has a Metallica sticker on his car, and his toolbox has a big Metallica sticker just on the back of it.
Is it like the band logo, like the name?
Yes, it's the band logo. It's like the
one with the long M, the long A.
Yeah, the long M's and A. Yeah.
Yeah.
The classic.
And bear with me because it's going to get confusing. I'm going to refer to Metallica as in both the band and the album here, so it's going to get confusing at times. Metallica received tons of acclaim. The album received tons of acclaim and quickly became their best-selling album to date. It sold over 30 million copies worldwide today. And Metallica, as of today, I guess, as of the most recent numbers, which I think were like 2021, 2019, something in there.
Mm-hmm.
And Metallica is still, to this day, one of the best-selling albums of all time, worldwide. The album certified 16 times platinum here in the USA by the RIAA in 2012. That's the most recent time it was certified. 16 times platinum though. That's no joke.
Times.
That's a lot of records on a wall.
Is that like?
I forget
how does it work?
I think it's hard album sales is platinum is millions, so I think it's 16 million hard platinum sales is how that works, I believe. And I don't know what defines as a hard platinum sale because It does also involve like buying it on like Apple Music, for example, but that's
Okay.
not hard music. Like that's not a physical copy, you know. I don't know.
Mm.
I don't understand how it works. Okay, I
Kind of
just
weird.
I just look at it and go 16-time platinum. Man, that's pretty good.
I mean, 16 times sounds a lot like a lot. So
It's impressive. Very impressive. The album debuted at number one in 10 countries across the world and spent 4 consecutive weeks at the top of the Billboard 200 here in the USA, making it Metallica's first album to top the charts for them.
nice, huge.
In December of 2019, Metallica became the fourth release in American history to enter the 550-week milestone on the Billboard 200. It also
Four.
became, yes, I know one of the two, and it's only because since then, Metallica has now become the second longest charting on the 200,
Hmm.
and it's only behind Pink Floyd's 1973 release that we covered, Dark Side of the Moon. I
What was
believe
it
they are
most heard?
both still on the Billboard 200 as of today as well, so those numbers are continuing to go up, I believe. But 550 weeks in a row. Even if you're charting like at the very bottom, that's still so unbelievably impressive. 550
Yeah.
weeks in a row. You're talking literal tens of years, longer than I've been
Mhm.
alive by a while.
Yeah, it's kind of insane. Oh, Metallica are currently at 158 of 200.
Oh, out of 200, nice.
Yeah. I'm looking it up right now because you had me. Oh, AC/DC's on here at 144.
That
That's
doesn't
crazy.
shock me either.
Back in Black.
I was gonna say probably Back
That's
in
the album.
Black. Either that or forgive me if the name's wrong. I know it's the album with Highway to Hell on it. I think it is just called Highway to Hell.
Perhaps.
I'm not. I don't know. I'm a decent AC/DC fan. Not my favorite band in the world.
Fair.
Um. So back on track. In December, or I already did that. Sorry. The album cover depicts the band's logo, angled in the top left corner. That logo we were just talking about with the long M, the long A.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the bottom right corner, there's a coiled snake derived from the Gadsden flag. It's the "Don't Tread on Me" snake.
Yep.
For the initial release of the record, both of those logos were actually like embossed into the record. They were black. You could like only feel it.
Oh, that's cool.
And because of that, the entire record was black. Therefore, the album has since been known as the Black Album. It's not
Oh.
called Metallica. It's called Metallica's Black Album, the Black Album by Metallica. You get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
But since then, in basically every release since, and on Spotify, even in the picture that I have used here, obviously you can see it in gray, and you can't feel it on the computer screen. We're not there yet. 4D technology on the screen would be crazy.
I don't want to pay that much for a monitor.
I don't either. Admittedly, I do not. That just
Although I
seems
did say
weird.
the joke. You know that really big Samsung, the Odyssey monitor that's like huge.
Yeah,
I'd buy one of those though.
I would
Too
buy it
expensive, but I
only
would.
for the purpose of racing.
True.
Absolutely
Oh,
need to race on
yeah.
that thing. Strap in, I'm Max Verstappen.
Okay.
I did want to just go over just a couple songs from the album, mainly four of the singles. So first of all, probably Metallica's most popular song. I'm almost certain at some point or another you heard this song prior to listening to the album somewhere.
Yep.
I mean, everybody kind of knows that guitar riff that opens the song. It just
Yeah.
it's so iconic. I showed you we were just talking about this. I showed you the concert just weeks prior to the Berlin Wall falling, and
That was sick.
it was a big music festival that occurred in Moscow, Russia, when the Soviet Union was still a thing, and Metallica was like the big headliner for the show, and in front of a crowd of 1.6 million people. 1.6 million. I can't
That's
even
absurd.
fathom that many people together. That boggles my mind. And just seeing them all jam out to Enter Sandman together, that's awesome.
Mhm.
I wish I could be there. I wish I could go back right now.
Good luck.
Maybe not to Soviet Russia, but that would be
I was
pretty
gonna
cool.
say Soviet Russia or going back.
Going back, not
Oh.
Soviet Russia. Um, Enter Sandman is a song, and I guess if you're not familiar with the concept, Brian, of who like Sandman is,
Who is the Sandman you speak of?
essentially, the Sandman is it's like an American. Uh, I mean, I don't even want to say necessarily American, but it's like a folklore legend of basically like if some people that struggle sleeping or some people that have like nightmares when they're sleeping, they're supposedly like afflicted with the
Mm,
Sandman. That's the idea. Um,
of course, they're afflicted with a Sandman.
it's I don't know. It's a hard concept to kind of explain. It's like it's more of like a child's thing, really. Like for
I
kids that
see.
have like frequent bad nightmares.
Hmm.
Um, However, the one thing that I think is kind of interesting I found in my research is the Sandman, like the idea, the folklore behind the Sandman in
Hmm.
Europe. He actually brings good dreams. So
Oh.
in Europe, the song is the happiest song of all time, I guess.
Oh, here's one. Apparently in some German short story, the Sandman would throw sand in children's eyes when they go to sleep, and it would cause their eyes to fall out.
Oh, that's kind
And
of
then he'd
fire.
feed, and then he'd and then he'd feed those eyes to his own children.
Wait, no, oh, this is awesome. Hold on, I gotta do my research more. That sounds crazy.
I literally just googled Sandman folklore, man. Come on, I got you. I'll be your backup
I
research
mean, I
somewhere.
kind of like understood the idea of like the Sandman enough myself, but I guess I
Mhm.
didn't know like the exact folklore. That's kind of
Oh
crazy.
yeah. Okay. So yeah, he helps us drift to sleep or drift off to the land of Nod, where he controls whether we have nightmares or dreams. So basically, technically, both are correct.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Sandman, what are you doing, bro? I ain't dreaming.
Enter him. I mean,
Yo.
I just said the name. Know the song. Enter Sandman.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the I believe the second song and second single from the album, "Sad but True," is about a person's darker side taking control. Um, it is influenced by a 1978 horror movie, which I've heard of people talk about this movie before, but I've never seen it. Even liking horror movies as much as I do. It's a movie called Magic. It stars Anthony Hopkins, if you know the name. Um, but the song is basically a monologue justifying the existence of the darker side, and it's symbolized by a foul mouth ventriloquist dummy. It's weird. I don't know. There's a connection there.
Yeah, I get it.
The song has been interpreted as an allusion to struggles within your life. Specifically, lead singer James Hetfield has had a struggle in his past drinking, so this song was kind of his outlet at the time.
Mm-hmm.
His way to admit, there's a problem.
Yeah. At least he knows it's a problem.
Yeah, and I mean, he did enter rehab. He has gone to rehab before, so he he's at least taken the right steps, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have The Unforgiven. This song is about the struggles that James had with his or with it was problems with like religion basically related to his mom's
Mm-hmm.
death. His relatives did not want to give his mother like the treatment they wanted or the treatment that she needed when she was sick, when she was ill.
Yeah.
And they just kept insisting on the idea that God was going to help her and God was going to save her,
Mm-hmm.
or in turn, God was going to take her home, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and because of that, he started to question like the legitimacy of religion and everything that it meant, and he kind of just that was the point in life where he began to see through it, you know,
Yeah.
because these people are calling on God to save my mom, and she passes away anyway, instead of
You're.
taking her to a hospital or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see. Then you have Wherever I May Roam. Uh, very short, very simple here, because I mean there really isn't much else to say about the song. The
Yeah.
song is simply about a guy who is just walking around, enjoying life, and being content with the idea of always moving around, roaming,
Mm-hmm.
and just never settling down in life. And in the ways, I guess, in the mindset of who they are, the kind of like a rock star mentality, always moving. Um, and then one more thing I did want to highlight is from Nothing Else Matters, which incredible song.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is probably the song that most Metallica fans like really started to turn away from, because originally when this album released, I know it's very popular, and I was talking about how popular it was and how many records it sold. But
Mm-hmm.
the quote unquote true Metallica fans, this is one thing my dad was telling me about. The true
Mm-hmm.
Metallica fans hated this album,
Oh.
specific parts of this album, because they thought it was soft compared to their other music. They thought it was very weak. They shortened,
Soft.
and I say shortened as if, like some of these songs aren't 6, 7, 8 minutes on this album,
Mm-hmm.
because in their previous albums they had 9, 10, 11 minute songs.
Yeah.
But they short.
Master of Puppets is freaking
I
eight and
think
a
it's,
half minutes
yeah,
long.
I was gonna
So.
say like 8.5, 9 minutes. Um, but this album had a lot of shorter songs. A lot of them were softer in the way they sounded. So this album was like kind of the turning point for some Metallica fans, but specifically in the song Nothing Else Matters, the opening, which I think is so unbelievably beautiful and melodic. James Hetfield, the lead singer, the frontman, he wanted to show off because he had been taking classical guitar lessons, and I don't know if you know this, but classical guitar is a little bit different than acoustic and electric in the way it
Mm-hmm.
works. Sounds a little different, obviously, as well. But he had been taking lessons and he wanted to showcase it. And the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of that song is that. And
No.
it's so beautiful. It makes me cry every time it comes on. It is just incredible. He also had to say that the song grew out of an extension from a phone call he was having while he was on tour for the previous album that came out in 1988, I believe. He was on the phone with his girlfriend at the time, and he was just picking at his classical guitar, and he, kind of just stumbled upon the melody, and the rest was history. He began writing for it, and it's a great song.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all the songs I wanted to cover. So Brian,
Yeah. What's
I
up,
know
boy?
I know you've listened to other forms of metal before.
Mm-hmm.
What are
Mm-hmm.
you feeling about Metallica here? What were your thoughts?
It hits. I like it. It's not too bad. I like it. I mean, obviously, right? I've always been. I don't know. I listen to a lot of music, but I don't know. I always gravitate toward back to like rock, and metal
Mm-hmm.
always sneaks its way back in there, which is pretty not bad. Okay, not back per se, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
It gets there and it hits, so I don't mind it too bad.
I would say System of a Down is like kind of metal, but it's considered new metal more than this form of metal.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say like this album, out of all of the albums that I've chosen so far, this one is probably the one that I expected to align the most, just because, like I said, I mean, you've suggested some metal to me, and
Literally baby metal.
yeah, exactly.
Literally in their name.
So, I mean, I kind of
Yeah,
expected you to enjoy this one, and I'm glad to hear it.
I did. It's very good. I
Um,
understand Metallica now.
he
Not really, but
understands, kind of. You understand the turning point of Metallica. Some Metallica fans would hate you right now.
uh, people hate me for no reason, dude. People hate me. People just look at me and hate me.
Real.
it would be like that though.
So
Anyway,
I gotta ask Brian.
you're
You got any favorite songs? Anything that stands
yeah.
out?
I've got a few. I got a few that I like to listen to more and more.
Let's go.
Obviously, Enter Sandman. I mean, it's just good, right? I mean,
It's incredible. I
I
mean,
always
yeah,
yeah. Where am I? I'm in Rome. Connected a lot with that one. Um,
I like that. All right,
The Unforgiven. I just liked it,
banger,
and Nothing Else Matters.
banger. He knows.
I know,
He
right?
knows.
I
He
like that a lot,
knows.
honestly. Nothing Else Matters.
You know so well. Oh, that's incredible. I mean, I'll say it. You know, just because I mean, you said it yourself. I had
Hmm.
two listed.
Yeah.
The two I had listed were Nothing Else Matters and The Unforgiven, which
Oh, okay. Bangers. All right, let's go.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head, man. You really
We're
did.
gang. Let's go.
And I mean, of course, I would obviously include Enter Sandman, but I mean, it's just so popular, everybody kind of
Yeah.
loves it. I
I don't
always,
always listen to this, so
and that's fair.
that's why I put it.
I will always remember, and it's funny. I was just talking to Dylan about him to get today, our friend
Hmm.
Dylan. Um, there's a pitcher in the MLB. He was a closer. He's the greatest closer of all time. I will stand by that. He wasn't. I hate him. Hate him with my guts because he was not a Guardian. He was a Yankee. He was so good as a Yankee. Mariano Rivera would always come out to Enter Sandman,
Oh,
and dude, it was. I hate to say it because it's kind of gotten overused at this point, but Aura.
it's just aura.
I'll show you a clip after this. You'll get
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. I got you.
I'm gonna any least favorites. Brian surprised me this week, man.
Yeah, Nothing Else Matters. I hated it. I hated how it sounds so softer. Awful.
Man,
All right. Anyway.
yeah, I don't have any least favorites either.
Yeah,
This is a good album.
Yeah, I liked it.
So I guess we're here. The most
We're
important
here.
part,
It is
Brian.
time.
What
Yes.
what did you give this out of 10? I'm curious.
8.2.
8.2. Okay. Okay.
Pretty up there. Pretty up there. I'd
It's
say.
up there. Not I don't think it's the highest of the scores that you've given any of my albums. I think that still might be Billy Joel.
It definitely is Billy Joel. Don't get me wrong.
But I
Don't.
mean
Do not
Billy
disrespect. Do
Joel
not disrespect my man, bro.
Billy Joel is a banger. I will
William
say.
Joel.
I will say. I'm gonna give this album an
Billy
8.8.
Joel.
I'm basically right
8.4.
there with you. It's a good album.
Huge.
It could use maybe a little bit more, or I think this is a case where maybe a little less. It's an hour long. It's kind of long.
Yeah.
Take away like a song or two, and I'd be okay with it, to be honest. But I'm not gonna pick on any songs. I think the
I'll
album
be
as a whole
honest.
works.
Yeah, I like that. Like I said, I've said it a few times now.
He likes it.
8.4.
So, anything else you wanted to cover this week, Brian?
Wait, no.
No?
I gotta correct you real quick.
Uh oh.
My highest rated album on your week is Blonde at 8.67.
Oh yeah, Blonde took it over recently. That's right. I
Blonde
forgot.
beat it.
That's right.
Also, Led Zeppelin's 8.5.
Oh, okay. All right, that's respectful though. Led Zeppelin a little bit more classical metal. I respect it. Classical, like maybe harder rock, depending on how you classify it. Doesn't matter.
Whatever you think it is, yeah.
Doesn't matter. Anything else you want to cover?
No, not really.
Oh, all right. Well, if you guys enjoyed this episode, leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you're on Apple Music, give us a rating. If you're on Spotify, like us, follow us. Yeah, I mean, do the whole 9 yards, get notifications, turn the bells on, and we will see you guys next week.
See ya.
See ya.